What do we have here? I think this is the past, though. This is like past baseball. Guys, we got best bets for Major League Baseball futures coming right at you for the 2025 season. Welcome back into the channel, my friends. It's your boy Steve from Straight Fire Picks. We got your best bets for MLB futures for the 2025 season. We're going to have 7 picks that I think are great value bets here for this Major League Baseball season. Season-long bets that we hope to make a lot of money on. So if y'all are new to the channel, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button for me. Always appreciate that. On the road to 9,000 subscribers. Guys, hopefully this video is good for a while. So if you're checking this in the future, we are recording this February 18th, 2025 at roughly 6 p.m. So hopefully if you guys are checking this out in the future, there's still value on all these plays. Obviously, Major League Baseball season starts end of March into April, so you got some time before the season starts. So this video should be good for a while, so hopefully you guys are able to get these bets. Many of the bets we're doing today, we're going to put either 2, 3 units on, or we're also going to have a splash of some different value plays inside of the main play. So we have a main play, and then we're going to have like a little bit of a ladder system on for things to go even better for that suggested either team or player. So stay tuned for all that. This is probably my favorite video that I've done, or my favorite setup that I've ever done. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be able to talk through some really fun bets that, like I said, have the potential to make you upwards of probably like, I didn't exactly count how many units we can make, but it's quite a few throughout the course of the season. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, looking forward to this baseball season. A lot of changes. Obviously, Juan Soto going to the Mets. A lot of bodies moving around. So we're going to find some value where I think we have some value here on the board. So super excited for it, guys. Check out all of our links down below to stay connected here with the channel. All of our social media links and our Discord link to connect with the community. Those are all down below in the pinned comment and in the description section. Make sure you guys also be sure to drop your favorite pick for the season down below. Tell me what you guys are thinking this year. Who you think is going to win the World Series, home run, Cy Young, any of that stuff. I want to hear your guys' thoughts. And if it cashes at the end of the year, I'll also give it a shout out. Now it's obviously going to be a while, but either way, excited to hear what you guys are also playing on the slate as well. Also check out our Straight Fire MVP program here at Straight Fire Picks. It's just $3.99 a month. You get access to all of our picks and our plays early as always. Custom emojis, roll call in the Discord, and shoutouts in the video. And also a great way to support your boy here at the channel and our team here at Straight Fire Picks. So super excited, like I said, for this season, guys. There's a lot to talk about today. This is going to be a pretty lengthy video. Like I said, we're going to have some fun here, diving into the information, diving into some of these plays, and why I really like these. So gear up for that. And we'll also have daily best bets videos for Major League Baseball once the season starts as well. So be sure to stay tuned for that when that rolls around. Also be sure, one other thing, guys, I just wanted to say, check out our merchandise section as well. We worked really hard on that, created some cool new designs, bunch of stuff I'll pop up on the screen there briefly. Shirts, mugs, stuff like that my brother all designed. My brother's my partner here at Straight Fire Picks, so he's obviously a very integral part of what we do as well. So I wanted to shout out him and all the work that he's done on that. So without further ado, guys, what do you say we get after these futures bets and see what we got in store here for this season, guys? Let's get right into it here. For our number 1 pick, we're going with the Arizona Diamondbacks to make the playoffs here. Minus 110 odds on FanDuel. We're going 2.42 units. Now I'll explain why we're doing that. We're going to have, this is going to be a complete 3-unit play. I'll list the other parts of this play once we get to those. But we'll start with the Diamondbacks to make the playoffs for even value. This is our main play. So the big thing with the Diamondbacks they did this offseason is they added Corbin Burnes to the rotation, which I think was huge. Absolutely, really huge. I think that was a big addition there to their starting pitching. Obviously now they got Burnes, Kelly if he comes back healthy, and obviously Zach Gallen, and a host of other wily veterans that, you know, if they could bounce back, this rotation could really be really good this season. Obviously Jordan Montgomery once upon a time was pretty good. He's in there. and also Eduardo Rodriguez. These guys have had great seasons, so they get one of these other guys going as well. This could be a very electric rotation, which I think would pretty much complete this team. Because obviously, you know what their lineup could do with Corbin Carroll and Ketel Marte at the top. They also added Josh Naylor from the Guardians as well. They lost Christian Walker, but I really like Josh Naylor. I love that addition. I think he's going to be a great fit here for the Diamondbacks. So I really love their lineup now. Like I said, the versatility they have in their lineup with Lourdes Gurriel, great hitter Ketel Marte, Corbin Carroll, and now obviously Josh Naylor. They got a very loaded lineup, and the catcher Gabriel Moreno. They got a lot of guys that can hit the ball in this lineup. So obviously I already like their lineup, and then they're starting pitching now. Like I said, if they're getting that going now, they're gonna be a very dangerous team. Obviously, this team made the World Series 2 years ago versus the Rangers. I think honestly, this could be another year for them where they could do that. I really like I said, I like the additions that they made. I think Corbin Carroll is also going to bounce back for this team as well. He's due a huge bounce back season after the atrocious start he had last year. So if they have both those bats working, both him and Ketel Marte working at the top of that lineup, they're going to be very hard to stop. So I'm excited to see what they can do. I'm excited to see what this rotation could do. Now, I will say, I think they do need work in their bullpen. I think that'll rear its ugly head at some point. So they're going to have to add somebody probably at the trade deadline, which I'm expecting that they will do. Obviously, we'll see how it all shakes out. You never know what you can get out of your bullpen and in the farm system. But as of right now, I think they still do need to add a piece, but they're really not much away from being a big contender here in the National League. So obviously, I like them to make the playoffs as one of the top 6. I definitely think I definitely see them in the playoffs this season with their rotation and with their lineup. But for some value, guys, that was our number 1 pick, obviously. That was our main pick in this slot. The second part of this pick, though, is the Diamondbacks to win the National League West, plus 1,000 odds on FanDuel, 0.08 units. So I'm not throwing a lot on this leg of it, just because the Dodgers are in the division with them, and I don't see it as great value at plus 1,000 when they have to go up against the Dodgers. Dodgers are really the main competition in the National League as a whole. So I don't think they actually win the NL West. I like the bet straight up like that as much. I'm going to like the other legs of this, so once I get to those. But, yeah, to win the NL West, obviously, I love this team. Obviously, with the Dodgers being there, it's going to be tough. But I think they could give them the most trouble. And for the value you get at plus 1,000, I do think it's worth it. So I like it. There was that part. Next part of this ladder here on the Diamondbacks, we want the Diamondbacks to win the National League. Plus 1,500 here on FanDuel. We're going 0.3 units, so a little bit more money on this one. So obviously, like I said, I think at the end of the day, you still will have to get through the Dodgers, but there's a chance they wouldn't have to. You never know what can happen in the playoffs. And I think here, like I said, I just see the Diamondbacks being a really tough out, and for the value you're getting here, I think they're going to be in the mix. And you're going to want these odds when they're in the mix. Anything can happen, obviously, in baseball, guys. You know how that works. Baseball has a huge luck element to it, just as far as how hard the ball gets hit, where it gets hit. Some of these things you don't always control, and the players don't always control. It's just there's luck of the draw with some of this stuff. So, obviously, you need things to go your way. But we saw them go their way 2 years ago. We saw that run they made to the World Series. There's no reason to think they can't do that here with the improvements they've made, like I said, to the rotation, which I love that. So, and then finally, the Diamondbacks to win the World Series here, guys, at plus 3,200. Why wouldn't we? At this point, if we got them this far, guys, we're going to put 0.2 units on them to win the ship. Obviously, I love the value at plus 3,200. I'm going to tell you why I love the value. A lot of money to be made here if they win the National League and if they win the World Series. So why wouldn't we take a little stab, have some fun? At the end of the day, the biggest thing I want you guys to focus on is the Diamondbacks to make the playoffs. If we cash that big play, all this other stuff, we're still going to make, you guys tell me how much we're going to make. We're still going to make almost 1.5 units if nothing else cashes besides them making the playoffs. That is what I want you to focus on. And then all the other stuff is there to have once they're in the playoffs to be like, all right, we got a sweat. We got a chance to make some real big money. You want to take those shots on futures bets. Otherwise, it's just not fun. So obviously I want to have my money here down on this, and this is going to be fun, obviously, too. This is all tracked officially towards our record and will be throughout the season. Obviously, the biggest thing we're looking for is them to make the playoffs. So that'd be the biggest thing we hope for. So love it there, guys, for our number one pick. 4 parts to that pick. You guys saw them all. We got the Diamondbacks to make the playoffs, minus 110 odds on FanDuel, 2.42 units, and you guys saw all the other legs as well. 3-unit play all together on all those things. So love it there, guys. All right, and at number 2, we're going Aaron Judge, under 48.5 home runs here for the New York Yankees, plus 100 odds on ESPN Bet. 2 units on this one. You guys looking at me probably like I'm crazy now, and I understand. This is definitely not going to be a popular pick. We're fading one of the best power histories, one of the best power hitters that the game has ever seen. The reason I'm doing that is not as much to do with Aaron Judge, guys. It really isn't. Obviously, we know what Judge could do, but you guys know what happened this offseason? We lost Juan Soto. The Yankees lost Juan Soto. Why is that a big deal? Well, Aaron Judge no longer has protection in this lineup. I mean, who's going to protect him? Austin Wells? Cody Bellinger? I mean, these aren't bad players, but they're not Juan Soto. Juan Soto's a different animal, and obviously, Juan Soto hitting in that 2 spot, getting on base ahead of Judge, which was the case a lot of times. You can't just walk Judge when you got Soto already on base. At some point, you got to pitch to Judge. So that's what was happening last year. He still walked a lot, but I think he'll walk even more this year without Soto in the lineup. Like I said, he was plate protected a lot by Juan Soto, and this year that's not going to be the case, obviously, without him in the lineup. So that's really the biggest thing. And honestly, 48.5 for a home run line is crazy on anybody. I don't care who you are. At the end of the day, he hasn't done this as many times as you think he has. He's done this 3 times in his career. He's gone over 48.5. Obviously, last year he hit 58, like I said, and big part to me because Soto was there. His rookie season, basically his rookie season, technically it was his second season, but it was pretty much his first full year in the bigs. He hit 52. So he might have caught some people off guard that year. And then he took like a 5-year break and hit 62 in 2022 when he had that monster season. Outside of that, that's it. He hasn't gone over 48.5. So I think there'll be some regression here, right? Obviously with no Soto, people know what Judge is about now. He ain't sneaking up on anybody like he used to. Because like I said, back in the day, a few years ago, Judge wasn't known as being as dominant as he is now. Now, obviously, he's known for being extremely dominant. People don't want to pitch to him. And so I think you'll see a lot of that. I don't see him hitting that mark. Hitting the 50 home run mark is very hard to do consistently. It's pretty wild because you can get so many things in play here. You can get injuries, anything. If he ends up getting hurt, we cash the bet. Not that I wish him to get hurt. I don't think he doesn't need to get hurt for us to cash this bet. I simply think, obviously, you have that equity, but I simply think also that without Soto in the lineup, I think it's going to really hurt his production. And they just didn't add. Bellinger's not bad. I have nothing against Bellinger. In fact, I'm going to have some more to say about Cody Bellinger later. I don't think Bellinger's going to be bad, but he's not Juan Soto. And nobody's Juan Soto. Juan Soto just was getting on base so much. Soto gave you the best of every world. I mean, obviously, he could hit like as good as anyone else, but he also would walk a lot, too, and get himself on base to put pressure on the opposing pitcher, which, depending on who the Yankees put in that number 2 spot and where Judge hits in the line, is he obviously going to either hit 2, 3, or 4, depending on how things go. But I just don't trust a lot of the other bats in the Yankees lineup to get this done, to get on base and put pressure on the opposing teams. So Judge will have the opportunities that he'll need to hit this amount of home runs. He's going to hit home runs. There's no doubt. He's gonna get pitched to. He's gonna hit some nukes. He's gonna hit some home runs this season. Is he gonna hit 49? I don't think so. I think that's a tough number to hit, and I think he goes under here. So love it there for number 2 pick, guys. We're going Aaron Judge under 48.5 home runs here for the New York Yankees, plus 100 odds on ESPN Bet. 2 units on that one. All right, this is going to be similar to our number 1 pick, guys. For our number 3 pick, we're going to have actually 6 elements altogether, and they're going to include a few from the number 1. I don't know how else to structure it, but we'll explain here in a minute. Just stay with me here. For our number 3 pick, we're going with the Boston Red Sox to make the playoffs here in the American League East. Minus 122 odds on FanDuel. We're going 3 units on this. So obviously, the reason why we're putting 3 units is mostly to cover a lot of that juice, so we can make a modest amount on this. Altogether, though, this is actually going to be 4.05 units across this play that we're going to talk about. But Red Sox to make the playoffs, we'll start with that for 3 units. So we got, what do I love about the Red Sox? Very similar to the Diamondbacks. I think they made the most splashes in free agency. Diamondbacks on the National League side and the Red Sox on the American League side. I already kind of like a lot of the elements of this Red Sox team, but look at what they added. They added Alex Bregman, a champion, great hitter. Add some beef to that lineup, some power, some average. He does a lot of different things well. So obviously that was a great pickup here for the Red Sox. Walker Buehler, again, champion, has the experience. Hopefully he's got another good season left in him. And Garrett Crockett as well, who was amazing last year for the White Sox, despite how bad the White Sox were. He was the only shining spot on the White Sox, and the Red Sox got him. So I think those 3 additions were just huge. Obviously, their rotation now is going to be bolstered. Really love what they got in this rotation now with Buehler, Crockett, Crawford. They got a few other guys in this rotation. I'm feeling pretty good about their starters now. Once again, with the bullpen, are they going to have to make a move? Probably, around trade deadline time? Probably. But outside of that, I like their starting pitching, and obviously I like their lineup. You got Rafael Devers in there, you got Bregman now in there. I like Casas, I like Jared Duran, Trevor Story. We'll see what he's got in store. Didn't really have a lot of production last year, but you know what he's capable of as well. So there's a lot of pop in this lineup, a lot of good bats in this lineup, and I think they're due a nice bounce back season here. The Red Sox kind of have had a few off years. And I think there's some value on them, obviously, like I said, just to get into the playoffs. And I could see them obviously getting this done. And obviously, talk about the American League East. The Yankees are still up near the top as far as favorites, but I don't see the value on them at all. They took a step back to me, losing Juan Soto. I think that was a huge loss. More than people are giving it even credit for. Just because he was instrumental in a lot of their key wins. We saw him hit the walk-off versus the Guardians. We saw he was the key. At times, he was the glue holding the Yankees together when other guys weren't producing. Soto was easily, to me, the most consistent Yankee last year. He was always showing up, getting on base, hitting home runs, doing his thing. And, other guys would go on cold streaks. Juan Soto was right there. Juan Soto was always there being consistent, a beacon of consistency. They're missing that now. And that's how, honestly, I'm talking about the Yankees because obviously that's the biggest competition, the Red Sox biggest competition. The Yankees' problem to me over the years, before they got Soto, was they just lacked consistency. They lacked hitters in the lineup that consistently showed up every day and at least got you some bases. Like Giancarlo Stanton, right? He's a guy I think of that he just lacked consistency. Aaron Judge at times lacks consistency. Juan Soto was almost always consistent. So you take that guy out of there and they're back to being inconsistent again. And that's not a team that I see doing big things. So I think the Red Sox could beat them out. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't or why they can't. Obviously, the Yankees have a pretty good starting rotation. They're going to have a solid lineup. They're going to be a solid team. But for the value, there's no value on the Yankees. I think it's minus 440 for them to make the playoffs. Give me the Red Sox, guys. Give me the Red Sox. Obviously, I think they bounce back here. The second part of our play here, we got Red Sox to win the American League East, plus 440 odds on FanDuel, 0.40 units. A lot of the same elements that I just talked about, guys, is what I'm talking about here. Obviously, the Yankees being their stiffest competition in my mind. And I think they can compete with them. This year, I think they can. With the additions they added, if it all falls into place right, you need things to go your way, of course. You need these guys to get back to being who they've been in their careers. Like Walker Buehler is what I'm thinking of. You need him to be Walker Buehler of the past. If he is, look out. This rotation is going to be electric. And obviously, if Alex Bregman adds that one piece to the lineup I think they could use, they're going to be dangerous. The lineup's going to be dangerous. The starting pitching is going to be dangerous. It'll be a lot to contend with. And for the value, like I said, that you're getting on the Red Sox, I absolutely love it. And, Teams like the Orioles, obviously the Blue Jays don't really concern me that much. They didn't do enough in the offseason to me to really take a big step forward. And then obviously the Orioles are still going to be there. Orioles are going to be a good team, but I think the Red Sox, to me, I just have a little bit more faith in, especially with the rotation. I'm liking the rotation a lot more. So, love it there, guys. For that leg of it, Red Sox to win the American League East, plus 440 odds on FanDuel. Next part of our number 3 play here, Red Sox American League winner, plus 1,000 odds on FanDuel, 0.30 units. Again, along the same lines, this is all interconnected. Obviously, if I think they could compete with the Yankees, I think they could win the American League. Because really, the American League East is where the power is at this year. Obviously, with the Orioles, Red Sox, Yankees, I think these are 3 teams that will probably be in the playoffs. I would take them all to make the playoffs at this point. I would take the Astros to not make the playoffs. I think the Astros take a step back this year, even though their odds are still pretty good. But I see them taking a step back. And I see the Red Sox here obviously slipping in. The American League Central, there's one team, I think, coming from the American League Central to whoever wins the division. Because they're still not quite up to snuff there in the American League Central. So I think, like I said, the American League East is where it's at. So if the Red Sox can win the American League East, obviously we're going to be feeling pretty good about that. And then obviously Red Sox to win the World Series. Same concept. If we already got money on them to win the American League, why wouldn't we have money on them to win the ship? So obviously I love them to win the World Series as well, plus 2,200. I think you're getting phenomenal value there. 0.20 units on that leg of the parlay. Leg of the ladder, I should say. But yeah, we have the Diamondbacks obviously to win too. But when you have odds like this, you could take 2. Give me 2. Give me 2. You could take 2 to win the World Series. These are the 2 selections I would make. You're still going to make a ton if one of them wins. They don't need to both win the World Series, guys. Just for the record. So, like I said, love the value on them to win the World Series. And then, this is a special part where we're integrating both our number 1 and our number 3 picks. We got the Red Sox to play the Diamondbacks in the World Series at plus 17,000 odds for a 1/10 of a unit here, guys. So yeah, for $10 to make 1,700 to take both picks that we like, why not? Is it gonna happen? Probably not. I'll be honest with you, but it's plus 17,000 odds, guys. That's why we're only putting a 1/10 of a unit on it. But could it happen? Certainly, why not? We saw the Diamondbacks play the Rangers in the World Series 2 years ago. That was not expected, but it happened. If you guys know anything about baseball and postseason baseball, it isn't always the best team that gets there anyway. All it takes is a team playing the best baseball at the right time, and that team's likely to make a run. It's kind of like what we saw kind of from the Tigers last year. Similar concept. When a team has the momentum on their side, it's hard to stop them. The Mets were the same way. Mets weren't particularly the greatest team heading into the playoffs at all. They squeaked in, but they made it all the way to the NLCS and gave the Dodgers a run. So I think the Diamondbacks obviously are going to have a lot more familiarity with the Dodgers, obviously, which I like that. I think the Diamondbacks could definitely steal games from the Dodgers. And then obviously the Red Sox, it's the same thing when they play the Yankees. Because the Yankees and the Dodgers are really the favorites this year. So if those are going to be the favorites, I'll take the teams that see them the most, right? You got the Red Sox and the Diamondbacks both see these teams the most, and both made the most improvements really in the offseason. So I think you could see some crazy things happen here, guys. And I think, like I said, I really like the odds that we're getting on all these. So, yeah, like I previously mentioned with the Yankees, obviously them taking that step back with Soto, I think is going to loom really big. I think he's that big of a difference maker. I really do. I have the belief in my soul that he's that big of a difference maker. Now, more on that, I'm a Mets fan. So I'm excited that he's with the Mets. Now, obviously, you guys will notice I didn't place any bets on the Mets yet. More to be determined if we're going to be doing that. Probably not, though. For me, the Mets seem to always miss it by a little bit. So that's why I had trouble taking the Mets. Although, I don't blame you guys if you want to take bets on the Mets. I wouldn't mind taking them to win the National League or the National League East or something like that. But at the end of the day, I would rather put my money on where I think the value is best. And the Mets are always that team that gets a high price free agent, and then they just don't put it together like you think they should. They never quite do the job. They're never quite as dominant as you think they should be for whatever reason. I don't know. It's the curse in New York. I don't know what it is. The Bobby Bonilla curse. I have no idea. But they never can quite put it all together. Diamondbacks have done it in the past. Diamondbacks have been to the World Series, won it. They've gone back to the World Series again a couple years ago. They've done it in the past. So for whatever reason, I think they can get it done. So, and then exact result. Last part of the like here, guys. Diamondbacks to beat the Red Sox in the World Series. Plus 31,000 odds on FanDuel for 0.05 units. So, basically, in the quantity of $100, it's like $5. So $5 to win over 1,500. Why not? Like I said, why not? I think the Diamondbacks were still my favorite, so I went with the Diamondbacks. But I think you can put $5 on each side, honestly, and you can't really go wrong. Like I said, it's one of those bets that's for fun. You gotta treat it that way. The main thing I want you to focus on: Red Sox to make the playoffs. 3 units. After that, we're in the gravy boat. All right, we call it the gravy boat. Whatever happens after that in our favor, we will gladly take. But I think they're locked to make the playoffs. And obviously, if you get in the playoffs, all those other things could definitely happen. You guys know baseball. You guys know how that works. It isn't always the best team that makes it. It's the team that's playing the best baseball at the right time. And I think we could see that here with the Red Sox. So, love it there for number 3 pick, guys. Red Sox to make the playoffs. Minus 122 odds on FanDuel. And obviously, all of our other legs that I showed you there as well. Total of 4.05 units on that. So it should be all up on the screen. If you have to look back to it to refer to it, do that. I posted some graphics throughout what we were doing, so you guys should be able to follow that pretty easily. Okay, and in our number 4 pick, we're going Alex Bregman, over 19.5 home runs, minus 113 odds here on FanDuel for the Boston Red Sox, 2.26 units. All I'm doing here, guys, is just laying the juice necessary to make 2 units. All I'm looking to do. We're not going as crazy as it sounds. Oh, but yeah, I like the addition, obviously, of Bregman to this lineup. I think Bregman's going to have that protection in this lineup. I think, obviously, he's going to get pitched to. It's a matter of, can he get his power back going? He has seemed to like Boston when he's hit there, 12 for 22 in his last 22 at-bats in Boston with 3 home runs. Seems to really like this park. Great home run park, obviously rated second behind Coors Field last year on Baseball Savant for park factors. So obviously you got, the Green Monster. It's pretty short out there in left and also in right field as well. So you can steal a lot of home runs here. It's kind of Yankee Stadium has those elements, obviously with the short porch and right. And I think Bregman will be able to take advantage of taking the ball, the other way and stuff like that, and be able to hit the ball to both sides and be able to get some home runs here. So 19.5, pretty low line for how he's done. He's had 3 consecutive seasons of 23 plus home runs. So obviously love seeing that. I love the lineup that he's in with Rafael Devers and Jalen Duran and guys like that. I think he's going to get his share of home runs this year. 20 just seems a little too low here. Should get good pitches to hit. If you also want to go a little deeper into this, the Blue Jays and the Tampa Bay Rays within their division, who they will play a lot of games against, were inside the top 10 for most home runs allowed last season. So the American League East actually does give up home runs, believe it or not. They give up a lot of home runs in the American League East. I believe the Yankees were inside the top 15 or 17 or something like that as well. So really, most of the teams around the AL East give up home runs. So I think Bregman's going to be able to take advantage of that and be able to at least get to 20. 20 is such a low line. Like I said, the only thing you got to hope for is just that he doesn't get hurt. Outside of that, though, I think this is a great look. I think he'll have a great chance here to hit this over. So love it there for our number 4 pick, guys. We got Alex Bregman. Over 19.5 home runs here for the Houston Astros. Minus 113 for the Boston Red Sox. Minus 113 odds on FanDuel. I still got to get used to that. 2.26 units. Okay, and for our number 5 play, we got Cody Bellinger. Over 20.5 home runs here for the New York Yankees. Minus 113 odds on FanDuel. 2.26 units. All right, guys. You guys heard my whole spiel early on. Early on in the video about why I liked, I got into why the Yankees aren't going to be as good this year because they're missing Soto, and now they replace him with Bellinger. I still think Bellinger's going to have a decent enough season. He's just not Juan Soto. He doesn't need to be. You don't need to be Juan Soto to hit 21 home runs. 21 home runs isn't that bad. And we've seen Bellinger in his prime. At one point, this dude had 2 seasons where he hit 47 and 39 in 2 different seasons. So he's obviously capable. He's got the power in his bat. And for a left-handed bat, I love a left-handed bat going to New York, going to Yankee Stadium. Like I said, that short porch right will help him out a lot, and I think he'll get a lot of home runs there. Like I said, at 20.5, I think you're getting great value here. You don't have to deal with all the wind stuff going on at Wrigley Field and stuff like that. That's a tough park to me to hit home runs. You never know what the wind's going to be doing in that park, and it's a toss-up whether you're going to get the wind going with you or without you. In New York, it should be a little bit more consistent. So obviously, I like that, and I think he'll be able to take advantage of that. And obviously, they're going to need him to hit some home runs. They're going to be missing that production from Juan Soto. So I think he's definitely due to get 21. I think 21's not bad. Soto had his best power season in a Yankee uniform last year with 41 home runs. That was the most home runs in his career. So I think Bellinger is certainly capable of that. We've seen this dude hit 47 in a year. So can he hit 21? Absolutely. No reason to think he can't. Being in a new situation in New York should also help revitalize him. Going to New York seemed to help Soto a lot. I think it's going to help Bellinger a lot too. He hit over 300 a couple years ago with the Cubs in his first year with the Cubs, I believe. So obviously, I think a new situation always is helpful. I still don't think it's going to be enough to make the Yankees crazy in the AL East, but Bellinger's still a decent enough player, and I could give him 21 home runs here. So, love it there for number 5 pick, guys. We're going Cody Bellinger over 20.5 home runs here for the New York Yankees. Minus 113 odds on FanDuel, 2.26 units. With all that being said, our number 6 play, which is kind of a play, I guess, but it's parlay. For our number 6 play, we're going with a home run parlay. Plus 14,090 odds on FanDuel. Another long shot parlay here. 10th of a unit. We got 4 guys here to hit 30 home runs. So can we get this done here? I think so. We got, Cody Bellinger, 30 plus home runs. Obviously, we talked about that short porch and right. Should help him out a lot. Should help him bounce back. Obviously, you guys know why I like him to hit his home runs over. Can he hit 30? There's an outside shot at it. I think there's some good value on him to hit 30 in this situation. And if he does go bonkers and the Yankees end up killing it this year and Bellinger leads the way, well, at least we got some money on him here in the home run parlay. So there's a good chance he could hit some home runs. Obviously, he's pretty well protected. He's hitting anywhere around Aaron Judge. So that'll be good for him there, too. Alex Bregman, 30-plus home runs. We talked about why we liked his home runs. Now, this is going to take him having a great power season, but I could see him having that at Fenway in particular. And with this lineup, I could see Bregman having a great power season. Will it be tough for him to get to 30? It'll be a little tough, but I think it's possible he could get there for sure. Adolis Garcia, 30-plus home runs. We're looking for a bounce-back season here from Garcia. You guys know what he's capable of. He's had a couple seasons, obviously, with 30-plus. He went 30-plus, under 30, 30-plus, under 30 last year, which means he should hit 30-plus this year if he follows that trend. Obviously, he hit in the lower 200s last year. It was one of his worst batting years, and he still hit like 25 or 26 home runs. So, he still got pretty close to the mark, and he hit horribly last year. So, I think he could certainly bounce back from all that, and with the rehab they had in the offseason, I think he could, like I said, I think there's a good chance he bounces back and he hits the ball pretty good this season. And I like him to hit 30 home runs. Really has, obviously, what kind of power hitter he could be. So, then Elly De La Cruz, 30-plus home runs. We have seen the raw power and speed of Elly De La Cruz. Obviously, the speed is not going to help us here. Well, it could actually. The speed does help us. Inside the park home runs count whether he does it hitting a ground ball down the line and ends up back at home. That still counts as a home run. So actually both those things actually can help us. I lied. Obviously he hits in a great ballpark in Cincinnati. He's due for a breakout season. We haven't seen the full Elly De La Cruz package yet. And hold. Not sure I really meant to say it like that. But what I'm saying is we haven't seen him put together a full, really crazy season yet. An MVP-like season, which I think we could see this year. Elly, I think, is obviously very talented. The biggest thing that this dude had to work on, really, is just his contact. He strikes out a lot, but he goes for it. I mean, he tries to hit the ball out of the park. And I think, like I said, here in Cincinnati, there's a lot of reasons to love that. He's going to be relied upon, obviously, a lot with Jonathan India leaving. So he's not a guy you could just walk. I think that's why I love it, too. He's one of them guys that you have to almost pitch to because you don't want him to get on base because he's going to steal, like, every base. He'll steal second, he'll steal third, he'll steal home. His over-under for steals, I believe, is 53.5. So gives you an idea of the type of speed he has. You can't just give him a free pass. And with that being said, I think he's due for a 30 home run season. And I think there's a good chance he could get there. So love it there, guys, for our home run parlay. Plus 14,090 odds on FanDuel for a tenth of a unit. That's going to make us about $1,500 in that neighborhood. A little over $1,400. I think we'll take that. We'll see how it goes, though. Hopefully we can get that one. That'd be pretty cool. All right, and then finally for our number 7 pick, guys, we got the Cleveland Guardians to miss the playoffs. Minus 112 odds on FanDuel, 2.24 units. Want on the Guardians. Yeah, we're fading the Guardians here, guys. Man, how do I open this? Well, they let Andres Jimenez and Josh Naylor obviously walk to a degree. They traded Josh Naylor, lost Jimenez as well. And they didn't really replace them. They replaced Naylor with Carlos Santana, who's about 50 now. No, he's really 39. He's pretty old. That's not a guy I think we could really rely on to get consistent production from in this lineup. And Jimenez was obviously a great defensive player, an important bat as well in the lineup. So you're missing both those guys now. It's an offense that really didn't scare me that much before. And now they're down those pieces as well. I don't think there's... You still got Jose Ramirez there, but Jose Ramirez is one of those guys that's also due for some regression, isn't he? Jose Ramirez is starting to get older as well. So his team is just kind of... In my head, it's just like a little old, you know? And it's like at some point, does it catch up to you? I think so. I think this is the year it really starts to catch up to the Guardians. There's a couple things going on right now in the AL Central. Obviously, the Guardians dominated the division last year. But with them not improving and kind of taking a step backwards, the teams around them also got better. The Tigers and the Royals, to me, are also on an upward trajectory. Both those teams, obviously, Royals led by Bobby Witt Jr., and the Tigers led by Kerry Carpenter, and you know the momentum that they rode last year into the playoffs. I think they could carry over again to this year. Their pitching was very good, and obviously it's expected to be very good again. Tariq Skubal, you guys know the whole deal there in Detroit. So the Twins, I'm going to give the Twins a lot of credit. I think the Twins probably aren't going to be that good this year. But I think either the Tigers or the Royals win this division, and I think the Guardians here are going to miss out on the playoffs. Their win total is set to 83.5. So the books don't have the Guardians here winning a ton of games. Let's put it this way. If they don't win the division, they're not getting in the playoffs. Almost 100%. They have to win this division. So I think that's tough. To have to win the division to get in, to not have an opportunity at a wild card, is tough. And I think here, like I said, I think either the Tigers or Royals take it. I think this is the year to fade the Guardians. And you're still getting even value on it. Because, you know, people saw the year they had last year, had a great season. You know, I think they're going to be able to repeat that. I can't trust the lineup, and I can't trust the starting pitching. Their starting pitching was ranked 24th last year in ERA. Obviously, you know, the bullpen carried this team. But at some point, the bullpen can't do everything, guys. They can't hit the ball as well. So it's like, if you're missing 2 of your 3 elements, your bullpen could be great. But if your starting pitching and your lineup are really not up to snuff, it's hard you need at least 2 of the 3, I think, to get there. And a lot of the other teams I mentioned before with the Red Sox and the Diamondbacks, they had at least 2 of the 3. Now, bullpen's obviously important, but I think they're going to be in trouble. I really think this is going to be a trouble season here for the Guardians. And really, they're only one injury away from really having problems to being a terrible team under 500. So, obviously, like I said, with Jose Ramirez getting older as well, I'm not sure I trust really any of these bats anymore. Kwan's obviously great at getting on base, and Ramirez has led this team for so long. It's not that I don't think that he might not have a good season, but I think when you put all the factors together of what could go wrong for the Guardians, there's a lot of things that could go wrong. Their starting pitching, obviously, Tristan McKenzie was supposed to be their ace once upon a time, and his last 2 seasons he's had an ERA post 5, 5+. His last couple years. Shane Bieber's coming off an injury season where he didn't really play much last year, so that's the top of your rotation. Those guys are supposed to be your important starters, and you can't really trust either of them. So, like I said, just really love it there for the Guardians to miss the playoffs. So, love it there for our number 7 pick, guys. We get the Guardians to miss the playoffs. Want. Minus 112 odds on FanDuel, 2.24 units. All right, guys, that's going to do it for our picks. I know it was a lengthy video. I had a lot of fun putting this one together. I hope you guys know. And we took a lot of value shots, obviously. You're supposed to have fun when you do futures. That's kind of the idea, is you want to make some good money over the course of time. And hopefully at least one of our teams can make a good run, in the playoffs. Both teams hopefully get to the playoffs. And at least one of them can make a great run in the playoffs to give us some sweat on that big money. We'll see what happens. Obviously, if both of them make it, I'm going to be doing a dance at the end of the year. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see how that works out. But I appreciate you guys as always. Check out all of our links down below. Check out our Straight Fire MVP program. You will not regret it. It's just $3.99 a month. You get access to all of our stuff early. And it's definitely worth having, especially with our NBA stuff. You guys have been following us for NBA. We've been really hot in the NBA. So get ready for Major League Baseball, guys. We'll have it ready for you this season. End of March, heading into April. Super excited. But aside from that, that is going to do it for me, and we will catch you guys all next time. Peace out.